not been as high placings. They've sort of been consistently within those top 16s and top 8s in recent affairs here for the Aurora side. So that's just one of those things where it's like maybe that inconsistency hit a slightly a mid note there from the Movistar riders, but the high notes that the Aurora side might end up hitting, coming a lot more often than the Spanish core, might end up favouring to them. So yeah, I don't blame you for picking into Aurora to take this map up. Personally, I think that's a rather high possibility. I'm going to go 2-0 in this best of 3.
And for Aurora, I mean, the last week, they just they lost their coach, unfortunately. So it makes you almost wonder preparation, what this closed qualifier is going to be like. Because first off, they need to deal with Grindas if they want any thought of going deep in the event.
Well, Grindas are on the T side start, much like they were against Movistar Riders as well. Quick plays in, KENSi draws out first blood as MAGILA is the first to fall. It will be a trade back immediately from the T side line, so it's a 4 versus 4. Bomb is going to get picked up and planted, so this will be a retake for the Aurora camp.
Lucky getting that pick in there from Electric and makes it 2. The bomb goes down, but Lucky's still alive and fighting.
Sidivo takes back Norwi, though, trying to see if he can get the even standing. See where Lucky's coming in from, but Lucky's not done. Triple in with the headshots, and SELLTER able to close the last. Nicely done from Lucky, especially as he'll be able to take the pistol for the CT side.
Now, he's a guy that really made his name worth on that Windstrike and Entropic roster over the last couple of years. I mean, he's even been on Aurora now for over a year, and one thing that a lot of people maybe almost forget is that he's had to take further leadership. He's transitioned into the IGL of this team. Now, they had Starix, the coach, previously, so that would have had to have been a relationship between the two to try and get him ready to call and to be the captain of a high-end Tier 2 squad. He's gone through a lot of transitional sort of squads of here of Aurora, but he's still here and he's still kicking and put on one hell of a pistol.
Fragging power and the big brains have it all in a player like him, although not so much in that particular exchange. So I once again cursed him, and KENSi's going to follow suit as well, trying to continue the aggression. Norwi is suddenly in a very awkward spot on the center of the bomb site, but lattykk comes up good with a couple of SMG kills. The flank is successful, and that throws the whole split off.
And that's got to be pure frustration there for the Lithuanians. They've just got 2 picks, just freeze, slow the round down. Instead, they keep pressing. They keep trying to make something happen out to Electric, and then that's when lattykk catches him. And look at this read. Look at the reposition for the CTs. They've got SELLTER on A. The 2 B players are coming back into Temple. They can be on a fast hit to defend up against A.
Minute to play with for the Grinders, though.
Oh, they're making an info play. They might even be able to see this bomb.
All a case of timing from here, and we've seen how timing can affect. Slow walks in, and no one is going to check Electric, so this will be an open and free plant. Nothing Aurora can do to deny it. The retake is a different story, though, and in fact, they might catch off the one man out towards main. lattykk is indeed going to strike to a 3K overall.
Now, this is actually turning into an Aurora special. A 3v2 with the man advantage. SELLTER still rotating in from Temple. lattykk, can he find another in the rounds?
SELLTER catches off MAGILA, and now Sidivo has got it all to do. 0 versus 3, engaging against the first, and lattykk is there for the pick on for Aurora. Another multi-frag round, this time from a very different player. 4K to his name on that M4. That's a second on the board of Aurora.
And you have a look at it from the perspective there of the Lithuanians, and again, they got a bomb plant, so they've got another buy potential, but that should be a round victory in itself. Anytime you've got a 5v3 on a force buy, you can just freeze, you can work the man advantage, but lattykk comes in with a couple of kills, and they're going to be tested in moments across this game. In slight mistakes, slight overextensions, and you're going to be punished. Again, Aurora are a side that they grind. They play on HLTV a lot. And when you look across this year, they're within the top 10, top 15 teams in the world of how many HLTV maps they play.
In many respects, they are grinders now. Well, 1-for-1 trades out there, Electric. Norwi able to maintain control of the back of the opener. SELLTER's going to follow suit through the smoke in from mid. Man down to MAGILA. An advantage well and truly sits with Aurora. Lucky is thinking of holding an aggressive angle. He's not going to go ahead and push forward to that smoke itself. Hold back at the elbow and hold the mid control.
KENSi out here towards Jails. Got a crossfire with the backside of Norwi. Another info play towards mid of lattykk just continuing to jiggle and see nothing at all. They can play extremely defensive. Another incendiary going out towards electric. They don't have a smoke towards mid, or towards B main, I should say, as of yet, but it could come down from KENSi once he starts seeing util.
Sidivo's got one of his own, passed off by a teammate.
This is going to be another backstab to B, you'd imagine. I mean, lattyk's already getting quite a bit of information towards mid.
Gonna go ahead and join him from electric instead. Burst of the M4. AUG holds his nerve. We'll need to peek it until they make their way in. lattykk will go down, and Norwi keeps the trades going, as does KENSi. Well and truly to the favor of the CT side. Another triple or quadra in these last 3 rounds. There's been at least one multi-fragging individual. This time it's Norwi and Aurora get 3 on the trot as a result of it. Grindas, no bomb plant in that last round.
And you've got to think here for Aurora, they are desperate to get back to LAN. They went to back-to-back RMRs, weren't able to qualify to the major itself. We saw most recently they played in a local CIS LAN where unfortunately they got grouped. I mean, one thing that can be looked at from Aurora's perspective online and on LAN is that they do have difficulty facing national teams, and in CIS derbies, but a chance to make the lower bracket run with some stacked competition. That's what their aim is.
Pistols, so not much competition to hold in round 4 for the Grindas. Taking some damage already to the Aurora setups. bagyz especially down to low. Meanwhile, Juke's down to nothing, dead as the opening frag of this round.
The Grindas have got to deal with SELLTER, who hasn't actually had to do a massive amount. This is the first time that the A side's actually going to get pressured.
AUG looks up and does catch a little bit of flick damage. Eventually those 2 kills roll in for him. Bomb carrier next, and bomb carrier fates the same fate. Sidivo with not much can be done at this particular juncture. It goes down to lattykk. 4-0 formality start, it feels like, here from Aurora. Grindas need to get on these guns and need to find their impact now.
I mean, you look at Aurora, they've made 1 player change so far this year, and it got forced. It was Chiron being acquired to VP, and then SELLTER, who ended up taking his place. Yeah, there's been a couple of changes with the coach here and there, and now their assistant coach of Bullet, I imagine, is going to take the main reins until they can find a new head coach for the squad. They are a team that are destined to the higher ends. And for the Grindas, if they don't start putting some rounds together quickly, this could be an absolute steamroll on map number 1.
The Grindas are hoping that they can find some opener with aggression. Because of the Aurora aggression, hoping to take faces out here at electric especially, and KENSi and Co have gone for it a number of times. Take the map control while receiving nothing at all. That HE will come back against the man. Meanwhile, lattykk struck in from mid. First to fall is again on the Grindas camp. The second player is actually on the CT side as bagyz takes it to a 4-on-4.
Yeah, KENSi did evade the flash, but didn't evade getting pulled down to the ground. You look at this entire round and the slow passive defaults that we're seeing once again from the Ts. Aggressive A main push does actually get caught. SELLTER did not get seen, though.
Tries to escape, and the footstep cues heard, so bagyz gives chase. SELLTER still able to isolate an angle, get a pick, pre-firing onto that fountain plat position. Raphael, now a known entity. Backup has arrived in lattykk on the edge of camera. AWP focusing as Norwi gets 1, lattykk gets another, and suddenly the AWP is all that remains for the Grindas. A 1 versus 3 flash in for SELLTER to make a 2K happen, and a 5th on the trot for Aurora. Grindas not looking as stellar in this opening portion as we would have hoped to. It was a slow start against Movistar the same, but and that pick, and it's so far so not good.
I mean, I'm going to be insane here and say, well, look at the difference of caliber of teams, which seems wild, right? Because you took on Movistar Riders, who play at a tier 1 level in the LAN atmosphere, and now you're going up against Aurora, who hasn't even pressed themselves to consistently go deep in tier 2 events. But the problem is Movistar do struggle online, and I think with Aurora's sort of control and the functionality that they have on the CT side, their working man advantages so incredibly well. Look at that from the perspective of SELLTER as well. Like, how is he not even going down there? You would expect that a trade is going to get given from the plat or being overwhelmed by a molly or a HE. There isn't anything, and because of that, he just stays alive for so long.
Well, the Deagles are striking back to remove lives on KENSi and Norwi, so there is a couple of opportunities now for the Grinders camp.
We've seen a 5v3 before and still go the way of Aurora.
Will this be the case right here? lattykk going to try and make it so many to line up. He's got his 2. Third kill, not quite as much, so Raphael still out towards water. A couple of guns that the T's can recover here. MAGILA's going to lose his AUG to lattykk, though, and he knows that the second player back there over at Canals finds him. Now one man left in a 1 versus 1. Deagle versus AK. lattykk gets the headshot, makes it a 3K. Another multi-frag round for an Aurora individual. And it's a clutch that keeps the streak running for the CT side.
And if I'm any member on the Grinder side, I am fuming at the fact that we have blown 2 5v3 rounds on our map pick. And yeah, there is a bit of context. One was a force buy and one was an eco. When you've got that kind of man advantage, you should be closing the rounds down. And if you're not, you're going to get punished. And right there for Aurora, that was them being tested once again for a little bit of an overpeak out there to Electric, but still closing the round down.
And credit to the mid player for diving down into Canals to ensure that they lost the man advantage there on the Grinders camp. Setting up his teammates to do the rest of the work, and that ultimately brought it back for the Aurora gaming camp. And now look at the aggression of the CT forces. 3 players pushing out of main over on the B site. And they're playing, giving them so much respect here on the Grinders side because they know Aurora have punished them time and time again. Meanwhile, there is a play out towards A main, which might cause a couple of issues as, well, SELLTER can go down for it. Norwi has caught the kill with the aggressive face. They lose their B lurk. But the A site has been taken by the Grinders.
It seemed like SELLTER was actually lining up a nade to go through the window outside of A, so losing his life and opening up the side, it will definitely be a retake. It's just whether it's successful for Aurora.
Oh, KENSi lands on bagyz. Advantage goes the way of Aurora very early into this retake. They're nading continuously, hoping to catch off a player that's also aggressive. Raphael's been heard there, though. The rest of the CTs will position themselves for a retake. Nades sent. lattykk to press on. Incendiary is out towards the center of the bomb site, but the one man held behind the central site pillar. The AWP's got to focus fire on him. Aurora going to make a move in right now. Raphael down, and a double up from lattykk on the defuse. They'll look lattykk to close against the last, but no one's on that diffuser. They got it in time. I don't think they have. A little bit too late there for Aurora, as the first will go the way of the Grinders.
So just think, Jay, the one thing that's given Grinders a round on their map pick is a slight miscommunication. Like, that is literally what we're narrowing it down to there, because lattykk had what it takes to get onto the bomb. Unfortunately, a teammate without kit gets on it, and there's a little bit of a miscommunication, and then that's it. That's the first round. We need to see more from Grinders, because that retake, even though it was late, it was successful.
Yeah, you can't rely on that every single round. You need to force out those errors, not just allow them to come in from Aurora and hope for the best. That's a one-way ticket to easy decimation. So far, that has been the case in this matchup. The first has finally come in for the Grinders camp, and Aurora would love nothing more than to answer back and win the half. They've got 1 to do so. lattykk, AK here at the doors. Utility being thrown over. He's unaware of how close bagyz is, so they're just starting advantage for the T's.
Yeah, SELLTER gave up a huge mistake in that last round by letting the A side go for free. This time around, he stands and fights, stays alive, doesn't quite multi-frag. MAGILA's just going to run through that smoke and does open it up eventually.
Revealed by the spray, the smoke clearing ahead of the bullets. KENSi from range gets MAGILA. Looks for a second, does not quite manage to land on the man. So again, the advantage will be there with the Grinders. Bomb goes down, 3-on-2 for them. Aurora very far away from bomb site contact, and you wonder whether or not it's even worth it to try their hand at this. It might just be exit frags at this stage. Nays to clear the smoke, look for a pick on 1, 2-on-2.
Yeah, this is workable now. You've got an AWP pick. Norwi has to try and work in from camera. The smoke's going to clear, and now there's an avenue into the site.
Got to act quick, though. They can't let that time get back to them again. lattykk's AWP was stellar from this position over at Heaven. Raphael been seen, not quite. Now he has been. Engagement on the first, can't land the second, but eventually he gets him in the midst of the smoke. And there's your second for the Grinders.
It just came down to a situation where where Lucky obviously had a miss amount of information of what actually was happening towards mid. They had 3 out to B. They had the AWP slightly aggressive in there in the electric control and down towards Canal. I think the reason why Lucky probably thought that mid was not as much under siege as it was is there was no molly towards the doors. There was actually no utility there whatsoever from Grinders. It was literally just a walk up. They heard Lucky throwing util from the doors, and that's when they got the entry.
And the Grinders will now have free reign of the 9th round. Not a lot really coming in from Aurora, that AWP being the only thing. And the pistols to surround it. Not a lot of cash available. Need to start building back the economy basis with the loss bonus that we'll get to the 3rd stage. As MAGILA will just close against these pistols, ensure that they do not find any sort of kills on that side of the map. The play towards Canals is not quite as successful. Norwi gets that 1 frag. It doesn't make a difference to the round itself.
KENSi trying to see if he can get another one. Jeez, they are sharp today. Looking on point individually, and there's a slight press to at least make it more expensive. I mean, if they can get another one of these rifles or at least another player to drop, that would be great.
Picked up the AK on KENSi. Norwi hasn't got any Kevlar here, so he could certainly be in a viable position to try and get another frag on MAGILA, and indeed he does. They get away with 2 AKs in that exchange. They have the AWP and pistols, and the pistols were able to secure 2 extra guns for them whilst taking 3 down of Grinders, so the economy is going to start to take a hit as their loss bonus has been reduced to $1,900. That was a very good round from Aurora.
Indeed it was, and when you compare the idea that they nearly went to overtime against Apex and they only got 3 rounds on their CT side, they're up 6-3. If they can press any more, I honestly think from this point onwards, the last few rounds of the half, they're just a bonus for Aurora at this point.
A bonus that they can still well achieve. XM 1014 for SELLTER. lattykk AWP somehow baited out by bagyz. And that's a frag back towards mid control, fully taken by the Grinders. The B players are forced to scramble, as is the one man on the center of the A side. Lucky there to try and hold the camera door. Here's those players. The AUG swings up for a lineup and only gets 1 pick. KENSi can respond, but now knows that he's pinned in a corner, forced to fight. That's what he does. The XM now to strike against the main players. Gets 1 before he's traded. The last player, a known entity on the Grinders. The AK set ahead of the smoke as he switches to that bomb. lattykk capitalized with an easy kill, and that is Aurora taking the half at 7-3.
And you could just feel in that round for the Grinders, it actually got panicked after they got that first kill. They tried to smoke off Temple, and it was a miss smoke. There was actually a gap towards that left-hand side. And then, okay, well, we can't split camera. We can't kind of get into Temple. Rather than just freeze and having the protocols of a more established Tier 2 squad, it is just, it feels like almost a rush at that point. It feels like they're trying to make something happen. And then as soon as they start working their way into Temple, they start losing lives quickly.
The Grinders back to square one, it looks like. Pistols, basic eco frag still coming in for them. That's 1 for Raphael. Pushes forward from Lucky though, going to try and take map control away to respond, or otherwise just throw the Grinders side off. For now it's a 5-on-4.
Grinders, you have to be said, have done pretty well with opening man advantages. They have been quite frequent across the entire first half. The issue is they've only won 3 out of 10 rounds. They've got to try and squeeze those 5v4s and 5v3s into round victories.
Lucky leans forward. Get out towards main, deal with Jukes. There it is. Advantage turn to an evens, and Lucky and Norwi still got to try focus fire against these players. We're going to line up for them. 4K for the AK. Not quite the ace. The number of multi-frag rounds we've seen from Aurora, I'm surprised no one's got one by this point, but still a 5-round advantage for them and trying to make it 6 to close out the half. Guns will return from the Grinders. Can they close that gap just that little bit more?
They need a taste of success. I mean, individually, it hasn't felt like it's been a map that anyone stood out as a bright spark. I think previously, we've seen a few highlight moments here or there. I mean, MAGILA on map 1 and map 2 put up some very good opening exchanges and round-winning plays. right here, they do at least catch the AWP and try and pressure Electric.
Oh, KENSi can't quite grab the gun himself to keep it away from the T-side line, and MAGILA almost makes MAGIC on towards Norwi. Meanwhile, lattykk has gone down. AUG continuing to stand at the back of the B-bomb site, turn towards the triple, but caught on the jump face on the quadra. So Stellar has it all to do in the 1-on-2.
They're trying to rotate in from Temple. This is still winnable. 1v2, kit in hand. Grindas, do they get the information, and how quickly do they recover it of where he's coming in from?
Smokes. Set into the back. We'll look to clear now. Stellar. SELLTER has got to be Stellar. Face in, nothing of the sort. Headshot straight, 8-4 for Aurora at the turn of the half. CT side up next after the break.
Desire. Hey, shout it out in words unspoken. Shout it out above. When I step out of the
Four to make up for the Grinders. It's not quite as much of a grind as their previous scorelines have been over the course of the day, but Aurora did all that on their CT half. Is the T-side going to be the demise of our underdogs? You're about to find out as the pistol is already live.
There's a very big hole in the defense out here towards mid. Smoke off camera side rather than out to Temple and start the split into B. Norwi can come in extremely late from main.
Glocks will lead the charge. USP stands to attention, but cannot seem to land the kill on lattykk. Finally does, but runs out of ammo, and SELLTER is there for the trade back alongside Norwi, catching another player. 3 held out here at Electric, all about to be discovered, but the kills start pouring in for them. Suddenly KENSi is all alone, knows where the bottleneck is, needs to land his head pretty perfectly, gets that first, and that second, and that third! And Aurora, another multi-frag round, another stellar individual moment from them.
How many more chances are they going to get? 5v3, 5v3, 3v1 on the pistol, and it's still not coming in. Oh my goodness, Aurora, that should have been them done. There should have been no way in that pistol round. Over-fighting, over-committing to Electric should have cost them. And then the Julies do that. What more can you say?
Nothing. And this was the fear we had, Dweg, the idea that this map could well still be taken by Aurora because their play style is just so sharp. We've seen it over the course of the entire day, and the Grinders almost feeding themselves to that 1 versus 3 situation. It's just happened time and time again, as you mentioned before. So many advantages not able to be taken control of, and Aurora just continuing to compound the hurt here. The Force investor, the CT Forces, has already lost a kill.
And it's a shame when you know that it can be a competitive scoreline, when you know that there have been opportunities for the taking. If you're down 4-9 and there hasn't been opportunities, you can just write it off. But when it's been like this, with the performance they've shown, especially in the opening kill department, you do feel for them, because now you've lost pistol, you go into the force buy, you lose your opening casualty, and then what are you trying to do? Try to do the B stack, try to gamble up, and instead, well, the retake's off. I mean, you basically just have to hold what you have and bring it as an eco in the next round.
There's nothing you can do here. The only way you win this round is by divine intervention, and that's just not going to happen. 10 to the board of Aurora. Only a few more to go before they take this one under wraps. The Grinders, I mean, we show concerns again about the fact that the earlier 13-11 score they took over Movistar wouldn't be replicated against this CIS squad, and I mean, you can see the evidence of such a thing coming to fruition. At least they're getting these X's and getting these guns out of the hands of the T side, but they are also being hunted here. MAC-10 especially on the wraparound. lattykk and SELLTER get those picks in and just about hold on to the guns as appropriate. So the lead grows to 6 for the T side.
And it's really not as if they had just the dream open qualifier run where they didn't have to play anyone tough. I mean, they had to play Astralis Talent in the first round, Eyeballers, Sprout, and Forza in a best of 3. I mean, those are decent and adequate squads in the Tier 2 atmosphere. The fight they gave up against Movistar Riders, and now, unfortunately, on their map pick, they have not shown us the goods. Aurora are looking to close this down on what could be the most one-sided scoreline in an entire best of 3 we see in this event.
Plant will be secured. It should be 11-4. Nothing to play with to speak of. Grinders have got to get the guns out here in the next round and then grind all the way back.
I actually want to ask you this, Jay. Do you think this is really concerning for Movistar Riders in the upper bracket?
Ooh, I like your chain logic. I really do.
Because this isn't even a fight. This is a completely different game than what we saw in the previous best of 3.
I mean, you have to debate the play styles, and you mentioned earlier as well the fact that obviously Movistar will be much more well prepared for Apex because they're well within that sort of that same sort of ranking differential that the Movistar Riders would be. So I guess to a certain extent yes, but also to a certain extent no. I will say that they've had a far better first half in that series against Apex. It's gone 6 apiece. So it
might have to be that we just watch out for that series and look into tomorrow to see, are they down in the lower bracket?
Yeah.
Do they carry on? Do they get a 2-0 against Apex? Maybe it does just need an extra best of 3.
Well, I certainly appreciate your logic in this particular instance. The Grinders are more concerned about their own immediate wounds. 7 to the good on the Aurora camp, 2 away from the win, 1 away from map point. The Grinders again need to take this rifle and run with it. And they have walked straight in towards that mid control once again and just absolutely wrecked them for it. Into the A site they go, the bomb will get planted. At least MAGILA gets an AWP pick back onto Lucky Sense and flying out of heaven. But does it lead to a successful retake?
Oh, they've got to go for this. They're running out of chances. That's a good shot. They still don't know about Norwi close towards a site, and there's even a mid lurk that can come in late from KENSi.
Well, know that they have to go for it, but will they make it successful is the big question. MAGILA turns into a 2 versus 2 as Norwi gets caught on the center of the bomb site. The CTs have that bomb site. The nades are sent. MAGILA's AWP lands on the man, and SELLTER is caught through the smoke with a USP. What kind of a round was that from MAGILA? You were moaning about the fact he didn't have the AWP in the last series. He brings it out right here, combines it with the USP, and gets a full-blown ace.
And I think that was just a straight spam that came through from A-Main as well. I mean, one thing to note is obviously that HE placement is to try and bide the smoke to allow a vision through. But because there were 2 smokes, it kind of only blew the one at the back and not the one at the front, which didn't quite give all the vision that MAGILA was up against it in the POV as such. That's a massive round. I'd really like to see the Grinders be able to make something of it, though, to actually turn it into a round streak and not just let it be a one-time showing for MAGILA.
Well, he is up there alongside the second top fragger at the board on the Grinders camp. But in terms of individual contrasting to his teammates, it's positive, but still not where the Grinders want him or themselves to be at here. Nades are sent. KENSi trying to make his way in electric, and once one frag back against the Grinders camp, the advantage stays with them.
And Norwi trying to maintain that presence outside of B main in case of an overextension. MAGILA with the man advantage is pressing out towards window without a teammate and loses his life because of it.
And lattykk will keep his eyes onto that window position as well.
That's a huge individual mistake.
I almost thought he caught the collateral. He does get the second man in the end. Another triple. Aurora might have lost that rifle, but they are again able to clap right back against the Grinders. A 4-on-2. This SMG should not be able to handle the 2 players that are out here. Lucky is going to spray him down. The last man standing is Raphael out towards mid. May be able to catch off SELLTER. That's information now of the other 3 players on the B bomb site who will get that plant down. And it's really a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't here for Raphael.
And fundamentally, Aurora have just outclassed them in this entire map of Anubis. I mean, right there, it feels like a bit of a boneheaded play there for MAGILA. You've got an opening man advantage. Even if he strikes with a kill, he could just be spammed back in through mid, out towards the stairs position. It feels like such a high risk to go for a solo play with the AWP and a man up. And in the end, it cost them. The AWP can try and save out towards spawn, but I actually think it could go down.
And the corner. lattykk converts upon with the AK, and he doesn't land it, so Raphael gets away with that. I mean, yeah, it did look on. Fair enough, but...
Probably looking at the ground. 7 the difference, right? I think for Grinders, again, it's one of those mishaps where you've come through successfully with a good individual round, and it just hasn't been followed up. Aurora have literally been all over them from the word go.
Not allowed much of a way into this matchup. One reset, getting those 3, and then the individuals from there. MAGILA has at least struck onto lattykk. So that's a start advantage here for the CT side. Will it get traded, and will Aurora turn it into a round itself? That's the key concerns for the Grinders here. Well, CT plays close here towards the mid-control, and lattykk just knows exactly what to do.
Aurora have just been so damn successful in these man disadvantage scenarios. AWP actually does make it another. That might force Aurora to think about a B split and avoid this AWP if at all possible.
Shots ringing out. Lucky's going to evade any of those tags, start walking his way into the back lines for the backstab. He hears those footsteps of the one man rotating. Oh, this is going to be a sit-up. Oh no, the jump phase gets the AWP information. MAGILA still loses the fight, and now B becomes the target.
And now they've got to try and see if they can punish the CTs. They're playing out towards the backside and of electric, so it comes down to the crunch from main and the backstabber cave.
35 seconds, the third man has joined the defensive line. Smokes are sent. They have no idea about the main walk. Oh, I thought that was a flick from KENSi, but Norwi able to cover it off with the AWP. The FAMAS comes in, his second kill for it. Norwi all alone and low HP in that 1-on-2. It's a 3K instead for bagyz, and Grindas stay alive.
You do wonder to yourself, how long is the lifeline? Because I'm even looking at this next round thinking it's going to be a light investment. There's not going to be much around it. They could go Hero AK onto lattykk if they really wanted, but they're going to close it in the next rifle round, you'd have to imagine.
It's kind of what you're looking at mostly here, and that next rifle round might not be too far away either. $2,000 float. 1900 inbound after this round loss, unless lattykk can pull that Hero AK and become the hero of this round. So far, so careful in terms of placement for Aurora. They will give it the good old college try. So far, yielding so little against the Grindas.
I mean, even if they drop the AWP, there's a chance that we don't see it in the City hands in the next round. lattykk is aggressing off of the back of that re-smoke towards main. Now, there's still a couple of lurkers. You've got KENSi quite deep outside of B. You've got Norwi with that Glock outside of main. The rest of them, with the bomb and the AK, are regrouped in A main.
Minute to the clock. Got Sidivo. Raphael on the A defensive. MAGILA has caught one out in mid. There's your positive start. Pistols will try rush it down. Very awkward sprays from that M4 Central. Raphael has fallen. Sidivo's still going to hold on to the next couple of picks anyway. Norwi, all that remains. Deagle out in mid. Looking for an exit. And again, should take that AWP out if you can possibly afford to do so. Probably does get recovered by the CT side in this case anyway, so. There we are. 7 to the board of the CT forces. Now the guns will come back for Aurora.
And realistically, I don't think there's a threat of a comeback until it reaches double digits, until it reaches that 10th for the Grinders. And we know that Aurora are only going to start establishing, if they can't close, a higher loss bonus. And if they're able to get frequent bomb plants, then it's going to be even easier to keep getting those rifle rounds forward. And this, to me, is probably the one that's going to close, though. A 5-round gap is still a long way to go for the Lithuanians.
Five map points. Aurora need to land one of them here. They know it. It's KENSi with the walk up into Canals. Going to try and challenge that electric position, but the CTs are pretty careful about taking that position over Aurora. lattykk has taken a lot of damage towards Sidivo. Norwi is able to get the pick off the back of that quick swing. lattykk may have sacrificed HP for the bait and switch, but it has worked to the man advantage.
Yeah, SELLTER's been able to walk out A, and it actually does get detected eventually there for MAGILA. A good check of information, because that could have been just a round-winning play just off of the position alone.
bagyz, meanwhile, going to keep the suppression held over to the electric control.
They were going to move away because of it. It looked as if they were actually going to regroup and just contact through from electric, but they're going to split instead just because of that re-smoke.
35 seconds. They're going to go for it. They're going to set it up pretty quickly. Opts them to go back in from mid and try their hands at a wraparound. 20 seconds, though. They've really got to make a move on here.
And they want to be silent in the approach. It's going to be turning into an A split. And look at this rotation. The AWP's moving away from A. They've got no one on A.
They've heard those footsteps as well. They know they can walk right into the bomb site. Oh, the presence of mind. lattyk's got this red like a book. The bomb will go down, and the Grinders are just thinking, oh, God, what have we done, boys? Is this going to be our demise?
And there isn't actually any utility as such for the smokes or the mollies to slow down this retake, but they have a lot of players on the side directly, and they've got heaven control too.
One man down in the back, though. MAGILA to fall. lattykk to follow up. bagyz able to trade back one smoke on the bomb. Not quite from the CT side. They're on the defuse anyway. Raphael to cover it off. Norwi gets on towards the man, and KENSi cannot reach this player in time. As they all play distraction, they get into the bomb site. Aurora left a big gap in the defensive, and that is Grinders maintaining their lives.
I can't believe he's actually stuck that. I mean, that has to be the thought process there from Aurora. He's got no smoke for bomb. He's tapped it. He knows I'm heaven. He's not going to stick. And I don't want to peek because I'm low HP. that is just madness. I mean, to have a stick of a defuse in a 1v2 without a smoke there is just, it's beyond you. And it actually just has kept them in the game. It's actually allowed them to keep fighting.
Aurora could have had that one done right there and then. Shots ringing out from both sides. The bullets pouring down against lattykk as Raphael able to open things up. The AWP saw them jumping but wasn't able to capitalize with a kill shot, and as a result, Grindas are up on the man advantage again.
Back into the mid presence, it's actually very defensive because they've been able to reward themselves that opening pick. Sidivo is going to go right back and play into A. Raphael was thinking about a rotation in from Temple. lattykk and KENSi have got a lot of map control for this A split now.
MAGILA set, SELLTER able to take one of the central site members down, jump through that smoke and try and press on the AWP, missing a shot. Norwi credited with the kill. lattykk against the next player. Raphael able to get one return, but caught on the reload now makes it a 3-on-2. The Grindas have the site and have the man advantage lost against them. Aurora now hold their nerve as Anubis just gets dealt with next, and the last player standing on the crossfire. 3-man face towards him. There's no way of surviving that. 13-8. It is map 1 going the way of Aurora.
And fairly comfortable, right? Yeah, okay, there was a few rounds at the tail end there, which they didn't close it immediately. That was a comfortable game. There weren't many testing moments there at all.